Hello, Bl'Artagnan here with 6 Warrior Quest number 3. We got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into it. Before we do, be sure to hit that like button, helps me out quite a bit on the video, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Marching towards 1K subs, and every little bit helps. Join the Bl'Art gang. We're gonna actually start off with the secret weapon because they jumped right in their force time, so we're bringing in Edward because their force time, in addition to being a big old attack they wallop us with, gives them the Faris raid warping mechanic. So they're gonna be warping their turns every time we act, at least during the force time, and they have a lot of HP attacks, so we don't want to have to deal with any tomfoolery or damage. Edward keeping us nice and safe with sleep. Tagging in Yang here, he's going to be a low-key MVP for this, as you'll be seeing, but for now he's just going to be kicking him in the face. There we go. Turn jumping, but that's okay. We actually want to get the high turn rate on kick out of the way so that it doesn't interfere with our force time later. Dealing basically no damage, because these guys, one of the things they do is they passively reduce your attack and eye brave, at least until you hit them with the force weakness, which is an ice magic attack that applies a debuff. So that's Celes, Terra, Hope, of course those last two enchanted, or Vaughn enchanted with a sphere, E-sphere. We won't be dealing with that in this case. But anyway, we're bringing in Aerith now. We did some reshuffling you saw earlier, just to get the turns just how I wanted them so she can heal us up, and you see what we did there. We wanted to tag in Edward, then sleep, then heal, so we did some jumping around there. Bringing in Setzer now. We wanted Yang and Golbez on the field, so Setzer can go ahead and apply Seymour, and then apply his LD. You may be shocked to find this out, but Setzer's really helpful when you have Golbez on the team, given that we have elemental lockouts right now, locking out the old non-ice elements. Once again, Dark Stocks on the decline. It's okay, though. Tagging out Golbez now to bring in Vaughn, who's going to be our driving FR this fight. Oh boy. Who needs Renault when you have a wannabe Sky Pirate, I guess. Tagging in Edward again. We're going to go ahead and sleep them again, because once again, we have no tanks on this team, and we want to just avoid taking HP damage if we could avoid it, because, as you saw, they nerf Eye Brave, and that means attack, so that means Aerith's heals are less effective. Bringing Yang in. This is important. We want Yang on the bottom, we want Vaughn on the top, and we want Edward in the middle. You'll see why in a second. Queuing up there, I'm actually doing Red Spiral as my second attack, so I can get plus versions of both attacks. You'll see why I did that later. It's a surprise tool. Anyway, trying to decide what to do here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Leo call now. I was on the fence about whether I wanted to do that, but I think the time is right. We're getting just about there, ready to kick some butt. Sets are doing wonderful stuff for Yang, making up for the fact that our brave damage is severely reduced. Now Edward's going to go ahead and use that Luna Freya call, because if there's one thing we love, it's Edward taking multiple free turns. It's actually for Vaughn, but I'm sure you figured that out. Tagging Golbez in now to finally complete the setup we've been going for with the Kurasame LD call, enchanting Yang and Vaughn with ice. Technically Golbez too, but that sadly does not count until we get the ice over enchant. Now here we go, the burst we've been waiting to press, that Golbez BT with Setzer. Look at that max damage, you love to see it. Who cares about elemental lockouts? A million damage a pop. There we go, we're going to be nice and safe, thanks to Big Daddy Golbez. I haven't been talking much about the mechanics of the fight, because we've been doing a lot of setup and technical stuff to get here. So here, I actually didn't expect Vaughn to have 3 turns in a row, so I was a little confused as to what to do. I was expecting 2, so I was like, what do I do? I guess I will LD, just for the sake of it. LD, why not? 12 HP attacks effectively between the 2 enemies. And now we're going to go ahead, Vaughn Burst, following this up, of course, with the Rain's Call, and then the Vaughn FR time. Force time. But yeah, this fight, a lot going on. Of course, 6-man fights always do, but as you saw, they have that crazy force time. No other force bar mechanics, just the force time that they start the fight with, and, could do it again. And the force time itself is pretty rough because the turn warping. The nifty thing about this fight is that turn warping, normally you'd think, oh, counter teams, right? Off turn damage. However, the dumb little Sid Walker dude on the left there, if he acts when his health is at certain thresholds, I believe it's from 80 to 60, and then from like 40 to 20%, give or take, it's just an auto kill. Luckily, they showed the little red HP attack thing over the targeting icon to let you know you'll die if they act. But this means you can't just counter them to death, which is pretty cool. I'm glad that they found a way to make that not the case. Instant kill attacks in this game, while they can feel cheap, I think are necessary to give you some guidelines to work within, Otherwise, you just counterattack everything and nothing matters. Now into the Vaughn Burst. There we go. we're going to be focusing down B because, as I mentioned, it has a scary insta-kill attack that Golbez can't protect us from. The other thing that A has going on is at different thresholds, it will, actually, honestly, I'm not sure exactly how the threshold works, but both of them have these kind of thresholds where they'll just launch giant AoE HP attacks, which can totally ruin your day and kill you. They also will charge their force gauge as part of some of the threshold stuff. Being honest, because we just are doing the giant FR burst phase, we won't be dealing with those as they come up. We're going to be dealing with them in one lump sum at the end of all this. You're going to see there. The reason we're using this music, by the way, if you remember, those deep in with the Bl'Art lore will know that this is my Yang special music that I use for when Yang's the showcase unit. And even though Vaughn's the FR unit here, Yang's going to be putting in some work, as you're going to see. It's going to be pretty dope. The three of them together are actually a fantastic little setup here. Vaughn, of course, dealing absurd damage and giving everyone that juicy Brave floor that you'd love to see. Kai's Call coming in clutch here, too. Now, we're going to go ahead and hit A in hopes of pushing him below that next threshold. We want to push them past as many thresholds as possible, and we got most of them out of the way, which is great, because now, kick them one more time, we're still in force. And now, here come those AoE HP attacks I told you each threshold brings about. They stack up. And that means Yang, with 2 turns left in force, 745% HP damage bonus, is going to be doing some really fun stuff. Let's just watch this play out. Setzer, Leo, and Lunafreya calls all stacked up, so Yang's doing hilarious damage. I mean, of course, the Leo call isn't super great here, but it was nice for Vaughn. But you can just see threshold attack after threshold attack after threshold attack, and most units would be really struggling with this because it ignores mitigation. They what have you. We have Golbez though, and so we don't really care. He's just sitting there and using his BT effect to keep us safe. Something I love about 6 Warriors, you get to use unusual units as kind of utility players and swap them out when you're not using them. Anyway, we just annihilated that robot. That was pretty awesome. He just kind of is gone now, so we don't have to worry about that kill you attack that I don't think was queued up anyway, but anyway. We're bringing Aerith in now. Even though she doesn't have an ultimate weapon, she has, I think, the most single target dumps of any character I could have used in that slot. And that let us hit for 16 million damage in one final launch. Not a bad way to close out the force time. We have 1 threshold attack queued up. And so now we're just going to kick him to death. I guess in hindsight I should have probably done focus because that was not kick plus, but whatever. It doesn't matter. My goal here is, for flexing purposes, we're going to see if we can't complete this fight in 1 FR before, without having to press the second Vaughn FR. You have such little HP left. I think it's doable. I believe in us. Do you believe in us? I hope you believe in us. If you're not, well, let's see if we can't make you a believer. There we go. A big old launch, 22.2 million damage. You'll love to see it. We're going to be doing a little bit of jiggery pokery here in the final analysis of this. One last Young EX. Then we're going to tag Vaughn out for Golbez, because, as I mentioned, we have a big old threshold attack coming. So let's chuck a snake at them, and check this out! It actually hit for weakness, which is kind of weird. I don't know what that was about. I thought it was elemental lockouts, but hey. Oh, actually, no, it would make sense. It's still weakness damage. It's just 1 damage, because that's how lockouts work, I guess, or something. Whatever. Important thing is, Golbez kept us safe during that last threshold attack, so we can safely bring Vaughn back in. Positioning no longer matters. And now you see why I used Red Spiral earlier, back when it didn't matter, when our damage wasn't really amped up. Now that it's amped up, it's single target, 1 target left, we might as well be spamming Red Spiral instead of White Whirl. Had we just been using White Whirl at this point, we'd be losing out on damage because White Whirl has splash and less HP attacks. Min-maxing, dumb min-maxing that doesn't matter because it's almost dead. So this guy's probably going to get his last force time, but that's okay. Golbez has 1 last turn left of his BT effect. 1 million damage LD, you'll love to see it. So we're going to go ahead and hit them with the Vaughn, and that isn't quite going to do it. They're probably going to have to do 1 more Vaughn turn if we're estimating it right, because Young probably isn't going to kill him with this attack. There we go. Force ability triggered. That's okay. Golbez is still here. This is actually a good thing, believe it or not, because this means Young gets more free shots. There we go. Oboro Strike. Look at this cool double boom, punch. I know Ursula just got her BT in JP, so I figured it's appropriate that we're using her dad here and kicking butt, because Ursula is not one of my favorite characters, and Young is. Sorry, Ursula. There we go. Alright, finishing with style there. Golbez, Young, Vaughn, Edward, Aerith, and Setzer pulling it through in 6 Warrior Quest 3. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. 22 turns, that is not bad, especially given that I'm using Golbez on this team. Anywho, you stay cool, enjoy the event, and adios.